And your Coke's right there whenever you
I
want it.
appreciate it.
Okay.
And the sounds good.
And the cards were good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're working.
You got one on the audio?
Yep.
Okay. Alright. Just waiting for sound. Move the camera. Cool. Whenever you guys
Cool.
Awesome. Oh, I'm totally blinded by the side.
Blinded.
Well, I know it's a very wide question, but since we last saw you, what have you done?
That was a wide question. It's been over a year. Well, I moved from New York to Michigan. That's where we're now. Yeah, moved and I got engaged. So I'm getting married day before Thanksgiving to my wonderful fiance. He's over there. Toured for 3 months for Battle of the Seasons, and just kind of gearing up for next year's tour. So there's so many things that are happening, it's hard to think of stuff. I've been working on a knife throwing routine, so I've been practicing throwing knives, working out a little bit, not so much so I get like super manly, but enough to be able to juggle a chainsaw. Yeah.
Like you do.
When one does.
A real chainsaw?
Yeah, it's right up there. Yeah. Yep, it's real. It's pretty heavy. And what else I've been working on? I'm currently writing a cocktail recipe book that's kind of... I don't want to write a cocktail book that says, oh, buy Citron vodka or buy this flavored this. You know, I want you to be able to make it all yourself. It's all to kind of do it yourself. So I teach you how to infuse your own alcohols and vodka and whiskey, whether it be cinnamon whiskey or rosemary lavender vodka, and make your own herbal simple syrups, and then, you know, have all the cocktail recipes that you use with the stuff that you make. So that's what I'm working on.
And how are you gonna go about getting that book published?
I have a literary agent, so once I have enough pictures together, because that's kind of the important part with a cocktail book, is having really fun things to look at. So once I have a good amount of pictures with all the recipes that I have, send it to him, and then he picks out all the good stuff, and then he sends it off to publishing companies and see who picks it up. So yeah, it's on the right track.
Tell us about the Battle of the Seasons tour, and what that was all about.
Battle of the Seasons. It's been an ongoing touring show for a while, in a couple years now. This past year, I was on, it was basically almost a world tour for 3 months. It was almost 45, 50 performances. Keith, my fiance, went with me. And yeah, we just traveled the United States, Canada, we did Sweden, England. It was a big production show, drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race. Michelle Visage was the host. And yeah, it was, I think it was like the first time ever that drag queens toured on a tour bus doing shows, which is kind of cool. So yeah.
And do you all get closer, or is there a lot of tension?
We all get closer. Yeah, there is tension. I mean, you're trapped on a tour bus. It had, God, how many beds did it have? It had like 15 beds on the bus. It has a little kitchenette and a bathroom. No number 2, you can't go number 2 on the bus. But you do get closer, but yeah, people do get a little annoying, yeah, because you're stuck with them for 3 months on this little bus. So, and you're tired. Doing the show was so tiring, so fulfilling, but it was very, I mean, you're constantly on the go. I mean, we'd be driving, you get to the venue, you start getting ready to sound check, start painting your face, you eat a little bit if you can, and then you do the show, and then either you go to a hotel and leave early the next morning, or you travel to the next city to do the next show. So it was nonstop on the go.
And this was the first time you did that?
This was the first time that it was for 3 months straight. It was the largest tour that we've had so far. Other ones, it was like 2 weeks, and we'd be flying everywhere, which was even more stressful, because you think about, 8 drag queens and Michelle Visage, and we have, 3, 4 check bags each, and then all on top of that you have your merchandise. So, and then the crew. I mean, you should have seen our luggage carts. I mean, it was just like mountains of bags. So whenever we went to the airport to check in, you should have seen their faces at the airport. They're kind of like, I'm taking my break. You can get to hear this one. Yeah, it was a lot. It was crazy.
And how do you end up being one of the people on this tour?
Our David, our booking manager, kind of started the entire tour. RuPaul's Battle of the Seasons. He kind of developed it himself. So he kind of looks out for girls that he thinks would go well in a large production show. So, yeah.
What other people, do you know of people that don't want to do it? Or
Not that I know of. I think anybody that likes to perform and travel would love to do it. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to see the world. We went to Barcelona, Spain. I never thought in a million years that I would ever go there, even just a vacation. So, even Paris. We went to Paris and Iceland. And so it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
and who was the group?
A lot of the drag queens kind of changed out. So it was me, Alaska, Sharon, Jinx Monsoon. Oh God, girls are gonna hate me if I forget their. Bendel Creme was on it. We had Raja, Detox. So a lot of the girls would do a couple weeks or a month, and then they would leave and do some of their own stuff, and then they'd come back. We had Jiggly Caliente, Fifi O'Hara. So I think I was the only queen that did the entire 3 months straight on it, which was pretty awesome. It was fun. My hubby and I were homeless the entire 3 months because we were moving from New York to Michigan, and we thought, why are we going to spend all this money on rent when we could save that money and just kind of keep stuff in storage? Was what we did. So
Yeah, tell us about the move.
yeah, the move. Well, I lived in New York 9 years. Keith has lived there about 15, and we were gearing up for this 3-month tour, and we have 2 dogs, and we've just been dying for more space. So we went to Queens and checked out a couple apartments, and everything was still kind of like, it's really expensive, and the apartment was super small, and we were just kind of sick of that. So we had dinner that night and said, why don't we just move to Michigan? And we both agreed on it. And a couple weeks before the tour started, we packed up all of our belongings and hopped up in a U-Haul. All 4 of us, Keith and I and Muriel and Charlie, our 2 little girls, all sat in the front seat. Muriel loves to throw up in the car, by the way. Not fun. And a good 13, 14-hour drive here, put everything up in a storage unit, and went on tour, which was awesome. And when we got back, we picked up the girls, and we stayed at my parents' house for a couple weeks, and his folks for a week. Got a truck and found this place. Yeah.
And why Michigan?
It's so pretty here. It's just really beautiful. I grew up in Michigan. I grew up close to Grand Rapids, Greenville, Michigan. I've always loved it here, and we both wanted to be close to our families, so Michigan just seemed like a good place to be, where Keith could work and where I could travel from still and have space to be able to do arts and crafts and create things.
And so far, has the change been good?
Yes, I love it. It's amazing. We have crazy amounts of wildlife, and it's nice because we don't really see our neighbors. Well, we have a couple times, and they're super sweet. They came over because, well, first of all, we were in our backyard. We have a little deck, and we were out there having our cigarette and our cocktail, and these ginormous looking ducks start waddling their way into our yard, and we're like, oh my God. One of them didn't even look like a duck. It was wagging its tail, which I've never seen a duck do. And it was like, it was hissing, and it had like this warty looking face. And I'm like, this is so crazy. And come to find out, it's our next door neighbor's ducks, and they have chickens and stuff. And when we first met them, they came over to our front door, and they were like, hey, here's a bunch of duck eggs. We don't really care for duck eggs because the yolks are really huge. So if you never need any duck eggs, we have tons of them, which was perfect because I like to bake. So yeah, that's the story. Oh, also funny story about the ducks. So Keith was, we have a little kiddie pool that our girls love playing in, and he filled it up, and we were getting ready to go pick up the girls because we were just off of a trip, so they were at the kennel. And the duck comes, and it just hops right into the pool, and Keith got the perfect shot of it with its wings spread up, and yeah, it took off after that, but we had to change the water because we didn't want our girls swimming with duck pee.
And how is it's not when did you finish Battle of the Seasons?
Oh, jeez. Hey, honey, do you remember when Battle of the Seasons was?
When it was like January, late January to early May.
Oh, that's right. Late January to early May. Yeah, yeah.
And what drag have you been doing since that ended?
Since Battle of the Seasons, I've been touring. There's a couple times it was like once every weekend I was traveling. It was nice because I could have my weeks off to kind of focus on new numbers and making new costumes and getting situated here, building furniture, and just moving to this full house from a small New York apartment. It's been, it's been a lot. So I've been spending a lot of my time doing that. Definitely working on new numbers and anytime I could have a chance to perform, I try to. I just performed here in Ann Arbor first time this past weekend, so it was a fun experience seeing, who I'm going to be hanging out with. So.
How did you start getting this interest in simple syrups?
And simple syrups, I grew up always trying to be able to make it yourself. There's no reason why you should spend $20 on something when you can make it for 10. I grew up, on a tight budget with my family. We always were canning. We were always, hunting, making venison and jerky and canning. We had a whole week of canning salsa, and we love saving money. So instead of buying it yourself, why not be able to make it your own? So I did a bunch of research, found really good recipes, and then I taste tested them, and I started changing them, making my own. And it's fun. I mean, I love being in the kitchen, and I think a lot of people would enjoy being able to make something yourself and taste it, enjoy it, and give it to others. And it's just such a wonderful feeling, good experience, It's fun for parties, and I mean, it's alcohol. Everyone likes to drink.
So it's something you would want to develop into more than just
What do you
this
mean?
idea of simple syrups. I mean, are you seeing a career in like cookbooks and
Yeah, I mean,
cocktail books,
well,
or-
I mean, I don't want to start like manufacturing my own simple syrups to sell. I would love to be able to teach people how to do it themselves and have other people be able to make it themselves. It's a lot of people don't know how easy it is to infuse your own alcohols. They think, oh God, I need this type of ingredient for this cocktail. I need to go to the store and spend this much money on it when you can buy a cheap bottle of vodka or whiskey or gin and make it yourself in a couple days. So it's fun to do. It looks pretty and it tastes better than something you'd buy at the store. So yeah, it's festive.
And knife throwing?
Knife throwing. Well, since Battle of the Seasons and past touring, I have been trying to think about big, crazy numbers. It's hard to, when you tour that many different shows around the world and people have seen you at your best, you try and think about how you're going to top yourself and how to make things bigger and crazier. So I started knife throwing when I was young. I had these small little knives that weren't technically the best thing for knife throwing, considered they said they were knife throwing knives, but they're too lightweight and not very sharp. So I started when I was young, and just recently, thinking of the tour to come, I invested in some nice throwing knives from Dubé, and I have my target out back already, and Keith has said once I'm good enough, I can throw them around him. So yeah, it's been fun practicing and playing with them.
Do you expect to have that act ready?
Oh yeah. Oh, that act is going to be ready. I'm hoping for it to be ready by September of this year. So, yeah. If you like sports, if you like throwing things, it's such a good feeling of satisfaction. Like, that knife hits the board, it's like, yeah, oh, that felt. It's a great way to put out aggravation, and it just makes you stress free. It's like yoga, except a circus type. I don't know.
And is that also what you want to incorporate mother in?
Ah,
as you call it?
mother. No, you know, I've grew up. I love puppets, and I used to do puppet shows at Apple Orchard in Greenville, Michigan, and it was called Clackles. And kids would come and would teach them how apples were made, and so I directed and I did puppet shows in this big trailer. So I grew up loving puppets, and I've always wanted my own ventriloquist puppet, but when you go online and you look for them, they're not as cheap as you think they would be. I mean, they're like thousands of dollars for a ventriloquist puppet, like ones that eyes move, eyebrows move, like the whole works. So I bought a book and I practiced my sculpting, and I completely handmade this one. She's not done yet. I need to add on arms and a body and a dress, but her eyebrows go up and down, her eyes move back and forth, her mouth opens. I tried doing blinkers, but it's really, really difficult to do that. So maybe the next, I want to do like a trio of like women. So have like, this is a sexy like burlesque performer, and then have like an old woman that's all wrinkled with like, kind of like no teeth, so there's like more, and like saggy boobs, but have them all be like burlesque performers through the ages. I don't know.
So she's going to be like a full size, like.
Yeah, so she'll have hips coming out, and her arms are somewhat done. They're like a foam construction right now with hinges, but I need to figure out how to sculpt out the hands over them. So, yeah. The wig that she's got is a wig that I've ventilated myself, so it's like the front is all single hairs hand-tied into a little piece of lace. So yeah, she's definitely 3 years of work. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever use it in an act. I'm not really good at throwing my voice or doing ventriloquism. I've tried. I mean, maybe later I'll practice, but you know, in drag performance, I do a lot of lip syncing anyways. So if I really wanted to use them, I guess I could record both voices already. So I'm not even talking. I'll just be lip syncing to my own voice with the puppet. So it's not real ventriloquism. I've just always wanted one, so I think they're fun to look at. And
Do you already now know what's next? What your next thing you want to do is?
my next thing.
Yeah. Your
What
next project. Now you say you have this. Is there
I
a
always
next one?
there's always projects that I'm doing. So I'm working on this cocktail book, knife throwing, like next arts and crafts project. Not. I don't know really. Did we talk about something earlier? I don't. I can't remember.
Oh, you mentioned the stilts.
Oh yeah. I guess it's a project. Ordering arm stilts. The last tour I did, my butterfly look that I wore on Drag Race, with the big giant butterfly wings, and I love still walking. And I thought how to improve that is to get stilts for my arms as well. So I'll be like this four-legged demon creature, and I want to have like this big kind of like puppet head that's kind of like this. Teethy thing that's kind of coming up like this, and I'm walking on stage and having this little. I think I want Keith to be on his knees, pulling me out like a little midget circus performer, or I don't know. It's a technical, politically correct midget. I don't know. They're really cute, and have him like pulling me out on stage, and then I turn into like this woman that's like this four-legged creature. So that's kind of my next thing I'm going to be working on once I have all my other things in life. I always have projects I'm working on, so whether it be sewing or canning or cooking or making furniture, like the kitchen table in there was an old little round table that Keith's family had that had a bunch of water damage on, and I sanded it off and I wood burned the design in and then stained it and varnished it, and stuff like that's fun to make your house look pretty. It's
For
easy.
making costumes?
Every now and then. I've stopped sewing for other people right now because I've just had so much on my plate right now, and working around here trying to get the house ready and new numbers for myself ready. I don't have time to sew for anybody else. I haven't really sewn for anybody else other than myself. Interesting answer.
Well, to change the subject completely, marriage equality.
How about that? Marriage equality. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, we can all get married now. Keith and I were in Mexico City, and we heard on the news that everything was passed that we can get married here. Because Michigan and Indiana were the only two states that you can get married in the U.S., I believe. And Keith's folks live in Indiana, close to Louisville, Kentucky, and we live here. So it's like the two states, and finally we can get married. So we're going to get married Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving, and we're excited. It's such a big step, It's been such a long journey with that, and it's about time. It should have happened a while ago, but
so that
finally it
affected
happened.
your decision.
We were always, we kind of considered ourselves married. We always wear our rings. He proposed, and we considered ourselves married, but to have it legal is everything, with health insurance. We can share health insurance, and just to be able to do it, period. Doesn't matter on anybody else's feelings. Just to be able to do it is amazing. We should be able to have to do that. Not have to, but yeah.
How do you see other people and friends reacting to that, to the decision?
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone that I know of, I surround myself with happy, fun people, and I feel like everybody that I know is in crazy support of it and are very excited that it happened. So, yeah.
Well, in that sense, what's next? Would you say?
Next.
With
Getting married to animals is next. I'm kidding. Just kidding, camera.
well, if you ask Donald Trump, I'm sure he would.
I don't know his theories on anything. I see. We actually we don't have cable. I hate watching the news because the news is so negative and so just draining, and so I hate watching the news. Granted, there's a lot of things that you should know what's going on in the world, but it's just so negative, and I don't want to surround myself with that. So I'd rather not have the news. We did just get DirecTV because we're just used to Netflix, and YouTube, but we read a lot. So we did get DirecTV and slowly starting to watch the news. So I'm kind of out of it with people's opinions on things, and Donald Trump, I don't know what.
Just an example.
Okay.
We already talked about it earlier, but on that subject, I told you that there is a gay pride in Glasgow that has banned drag queens from that event because they think it's offensive to trans people.
Now they've actually banned queens.
Yeah.
It's just, it's stupid. It's shocking. I guess a lot of people feel that drag queens are, I hear this from other people, I don't see it myself, but they think that drag queens are kind of mocking women. And I don't see that at all. I think of it as homage to women, and it celebrates women. That's why I do it. It's fun and exciting, and it's a, how do I put this in my own words? Women are amazing. They're beautiful, and it's fun to be able to impersonate and create something like that. And I guess some people don't see it that way, and trans women are getting upset over drag queens over there. Or I don't know if it's there or everywhere. I don't know.
Do you see it turning into an issue? This thing that because of, I assume, Caitlyn Jenner and other things that they now have a bigger voice and they're going to use it to express it?
I don't think so. I look back at all my trans friends and the ones that I've known or know of that are famous or in the limelight over the years, and most of them started their careers off as female impersonators or drag queens. They started doing drag shows. Whether they start transitioning, that's that. But I don't think it's gonna really change a lot. I think the most of us know that drag queens is a celebratory, fun, lively thing. It's like when I was growing up, I was a clown. I was a clown for years, 8 years, and my parents didn't really understand drag, and they didn't know if I was going to be transitioning or if I wanted to be a woman. And I said, no, it's I'm dressing up as a woman because one, women have way better songs than men do to perform, but it's a I'm putting in a costume to entertain people, not to be crude to women, not to be making fun of them. It's to represent women and celebrate them more than anything.
But what do you think the difference is? Well, why would some female impersonators never want to transition and others do?
Repeat the question.
I mean, you said that some of the trans people started out as female impersonators. What do you
Right.
think the difference is between people who do that to then transition and people who don't even want it?
Oh, well, I mean, trans people that transition, whether they start off as drag queens or if they're just always transgender, they in their hearts and their mind, they feel like, they're the opposite sex. So they change things to be who they are. And, it's drag queens and they put on a costume and makeup to entertain people and to celebrate women. I think transgender, male to female, when they start doing drag, whatever time being in their life, they feel that putting on the drag is most comfortable to them. And they might, once they start performing and start dressing up in drag, they feel most comfortable in, and they feel like that's who they should be when they were born. In their mind, they are a woman, whether they have the male parts or not. So that's why they... Is that confusing? Is that kind of all the way around? She's like, I don't know.
Have you ever been, or see the confusion for you personally when people call you he or she?
I never get offended by that. Some people might that are drag queens that would get upset by that. I don't. I find it as a compliment. If you think I get called female, her, she at the airport whenever I'm traveling, because I will be fully shaved because I'll probably be working and I don't have any eyebrows and my nails are probably painted. So half the time I do get called, ma'am, which it's fine. I correct them, but it's like I laugh it off because hey, if I look prettier as a woman, I'm doing my job right. But I never get offended by it. People make mistakes. It's fine. I really, that's so little to get upset by. There's bigger problems, in the world. That it's like I don't give a shit. You want to call me ma'am? You think I'm a woman? Fine. That's fine. I don't care. Yeah.
What's your, if you want to talk about it, what's your view on the latest season of RuPaul's Drag Race? If you want to talk about it on camera.
Season 8. That was nice of you to ask. Yeah, I was watching the season. It's actually, I watched the first couple episodes from the get-go, and when the season was airing, we were actually on Battle of the Seasons touring, so watching it was really hard to do because we had our cell phones and we're on this bus with the shittiest Wi-Fi, so we're like going in and out trying to watch it. So I watched the first couple of episodes and then I kind of lost track after that, but once we finished, I watched them, and it was, I don't know, it wasn't my favorite season, to be honest, and, I'm sorry if I'm friends with you that you're on it right now and you're listening to this, but it just wasn't, I don't know, I want to see more creative and I want to see more crazy, and it just seemed very kind of flatline to me, and the end result, like, I've met Violet a couple times, she's super sweet, congrats for your win, but after watching it all, I really thought Ginger was going to win. Being at the taping of the finale, it was like a clear, obvious beacon that was like, oh, Ginger won, because her answers, she was so perfectly well spoken, and she was just, her performance was flawless, and she just looked great. And I think a lot of people felt that way. So, yeah. And I love Miss Fame. She was a friend of mine in New York, and I was excited to see her on. She had crazy, amazing looks, so that was an entertaining part for me. I liked watching her. So,
Speaking of yeah, that's just my own personal. How the hell do you make a waist like Violet did?
lots of waist training. You know, I did some research on it just to see exactly what goes into getting your waist down to nothing. And I mean, that's a lot of work. I mean, every day you have to be wearing a tight corset underneath your clothes to keep getting your waist smaller and smaller. A lot of men would wear you get like a belt of yours, like a big leather belt, you know, just a regular 2-inch belt, and you pound some holes in it to make it smaller and smaller. And you wear that as tight as you possibly can, so where it's like really, excuse me, I burped, uncomfortable. And you tighten it and you just wear it underneath your clothes. The more you wear it, the more your organs and your muscles kind of evolve and change around that belt or that corset. So every day you're wearing it, every night you're sleeping, your waist is learning how to shrink and shrink and shrink. So someone that has a lot of stomach muscle, if you were to start doing that, it would take a while because you have to break down that stomach muscle and move. Your organs are actually moving from that area. So your stomach and intestines are actually getting pushed. And you look at an X-ray of women that from the 18th century or from the 1900s where they wore a lot of corsets, they're deformed on the inside because of wearing so many corsets. So it's a lot of health problems with waist training and corseting. So Violet, I mean, it looks cool. A lot of it looks really, really cool, but painful.
Well, we won't be seeing you doing that anytime soon.
No, I'll put bigger hips in with a tight. I'll still have a tight corset on, but bigger the hips make the waist look smaller. I'm fine with that. I'll be throwing knives at someone, which I think is a little more impressive. It's more dangerous, I think.
Now, you were mentioning it to me earlier. I just wondered if you would talk about that a little bit again. The whole, like you said, with people who have not been on the show and their jealousy towards you that have.
Yeah, it's. I understand it, but it's also shocking at the same time. I'll be traveling, doing a gig somewhere, some regular city, and if I'm performing with a group of other drag queens, a good 70% of the drag queens will be super sweet, nice as all get out, be wanting to take pictures and just hang out. Doesn't even need taking pictures, but just chit chat about life, just be down to earth. And the other 30% will be standoffish. They won't even hardly talk to me. I will have to really force myself to not force myself, but really try and engage them in conversation because they don't want to have anything to do with me. They just don't want to talk to me. They're giving me dirty looks. I've heard that from other queens from Drag Race, where there's a lot of queens out there that'll be jealous and bitter that they didn't get on the past couple times they've tried to audition, and it's a jealousy thing, and it sucks because a fun thing for me when I travel and perform is getting to meet all the local queens and just making new friends. And it's hard for me to be in a dressing room where there's a couple queens in there that are giving me dirty looks, and they just resent me being there, and they think that I'm stealing their money, and not stealing their money, but being on Drag Race, you do make more money than a regular queen would at a regular show. I mean, I grew up doing doing shows for $30 a night, once a week, and you're not making any money that way. So I understand how hard it is, but in all reality, the clubs that hire us, it doesn't matter if you're a good or bad performer, they're bringing in a TV personality to bring in customers. That's why we make more money, not because we're better performers or we do things better than the locals do. It's because we're just bringing in people, and I mean, I'm a really good performer, so.
Do you not also think that it is partially thanks to the show that a lot of these people actually have a job because it's become more popular?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, ever since the show, I've noticed it's like a baby boom. It's like the baby boom, except for drag queens. There's thousands of more drag queens out there because we're put in the limelight. People are getting to know what we do and why we do it and why it's fun and how entertaining it is and how we can be in the spotlight and get attention. So a lot of people are starting to do drag, whether they're a performer or not, or a look queen, or they just like getting up in a costume and entertaining people. It's whatever. But
When you were in, I think it was Sweden, did you get to meet, what are they called, Duo Raw? What do you think
the
of
first
them?
I was
I
in
find them very
Copenhagen.
fascinating.
Oh, they're amazing. Copenhagen. We were in Keith and I were in Copenhagen, and then we it's like a 30-minute drive from Copenhagen to Malmö, Sweden. Really close. Who knew? And yeah, Duo Raw was there. I've met them twice now. Oh my God, they're so amazing. Their costumes, they're like these creatures, So do you know them personally? They're so
No,
cool. They're so
I've
cool.
just seen them on Facebook. I remember starting to follow them on Instagram when they only had like a handful of followers. Cut to 6 months later, they have like 1 million.
Yeah, their costumes are crazy cool. I don't know if they perform or do shows. I think they're just look queens, but their look is like really, really cool. I think they do have an album out. You gotta check it out. Check out Duo Raw. They're really cool. I mean, shoulders and like they make everything themselves. Like it's crazy. I love people that make everything themselves, and their costumes they stud and spike everything, and you can see and appreciate all the time that goes into it all. So, yeah, check them out.
Did you get to talk to them? Or
Yeah. They were super nice, friendly. Like if they were living here, we'd probably be hanging out every night, cooking and playing cards, euchre.
So, this may sound like a stupid question, but you've only been here for a couple of months, but I'm assuming in New York, there was always, when you were off, you went to hang out with someone or went to a little bar or whatever. What do you do here?
Well, here, there's a huge difference than from living in New York to here. Here, there's a lot more space. There's family, close by. It's so much more relaxing. Things are it's like living in New York, everything was like in a flip book, and it's really, really fast, And then living here, everything's slowed down, and you've got more time to do things, and there's more space and room, and it's open and relaxing. Everything's slower. So, you have the time and the energy and space to work on all my millions of hobbies that I like to do. So, we don't really go out to the bars a lot. We have a little tavern close by, Dollar Pints. It's like really cheap and awesome. And they've got Keno. If you don't know what Keno is, it's like Michigan Lottery, and it's a fun game. So it's just really relaxing, and I hate being stressed out, so this is like a perfect place to live, and love making things. We got apple trees and pear trees and tons of farmland, and you go to the movies, and here's like the big difference from living in New York and here. New York, it might seem like you have tons of friends, but when it comes time to actually hanging out with them, you never hang out with them because everyone's so busy and crazy and working, and there's no time to hang out, it feels like. And even if Jesse Vault, one of my closest friends from New York, we might see each other maybe once a month. Where here, everyone drives and everybody, things are such a slower pace and everyone's got more time off that you actually get to hang out with the friends that you make. And whether it be barbecuing, you don't do that in New York, or just like playing cards or watching a movie or crafting, you can actually do that with people here.
Do you think
more
you
often.
moved at the right time? Or was
Perfect
it-
time, yeah. I think we moved at the perfect time. Going into that 3-month tour, not having to pay rent and just save, and being gone for 3 months, that's a long time when you're actually on the road, and just kind of thinking I don't have a place to live. It was kind of free and liberating, and kind of like a fresh start in a new place. It was amazing. What?
No, just smiling. Let's cut here for a minute.
Is your arm getting tired with a boom stick in your hand?
She's a pro.
See, that's a really dirty joke in a drag queen's mind.
But I figured we could switch to you showing us around a little bit and going outside too.
Sure. Do you mind if I have a quick cigarette?
Yeah, of course.
You guys mind? 9 beds, all stacked. So there's 3 stacked in rows, and then behind that was like the crew room with another flat screen TV, and each bunk had our own little TV in it. It was nice, but it was tight. It was fun. I can't wait to do it again.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But it's not like.
Oh. Yeah.
Can I take a picture of it too?
Oh, go for it. I can open it up if you want. Pull it
Oh,
out.
sure
You
I
can
can.
see it move.
Oh, I like that actually.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's really hard. The face I sculpted out of clay first, just oil-based clay, to get the right shape, and then I molded it with latex and plaster, pulled it off, and then removed the clay sculpture I made, and then put the mold back together, and then I pushed. It's a 2-part epoxy resin, so you mix these 2 clays together, like a lot, and then you thin them out and you push it into the mold, bit by bit by bit, until it's completely covered. And then you let it sit overnight and it completely hardens, and you pull it out, and it's like a hollow, hard.
It's like old fashioned the way.
You can feel it. Yeah. And then back here, you can see like the eyes move. The mouth opens. Not as much as I wish it would, but
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. But
I can't abstract from the movie.
yeah, I just love that movie because it's like to make that many puppets.
Right? That's gotta have been a lot of work.
Once you get going, and I mean, obviously, if I was to work on this nonstop, it wouldn't have taken.
She's looking right at me.
Yeah, I'm happy the way she turned out. I can't wait to work on the next ones. Once you like sit and you know how to do it,
Yeah.
the innards, the mechanisms inside the head are the fun. There's a hole drilled into each wooden dowel with a wire kind of beam. So when you move that beam back and forth, both eyes move at the same time.
Can I make you ready a drink?
Sure.
You want the same thing?
Whatever you're having, yeah.
That's what I'm gonna have.
Yeah,
But I can make you all other one.
Where did my glass go? I think.
we don't.
Her face, her.
The old woman
Yeah, I
too.
just can't forget her.
Yeah.
What's that film that we watched with Anthony Hopkins when he was
Oh,
Magic? Was it called Magic? I think it was called Magic.
There's a movie where he's at the short.
Yeah,
he's super
and
young.
he's super young, and he's got this dummy, and he just goes crazy, and he like beats people with this dummy, and he talks to the dummy. Even when the
Really?
dummy's mouth isn't moving,
He's really good.
he's really good at it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
It's good though. So let's
Oh.
make 2 of them.
You can probably put the glad cam in the
You're not using that,
It's like a homemade absinthe or something.
This stuff is so good though. It's just ginger blended up with. So you're gonna want to do 3 ounces. Yeah, do a little bit more than 3.
I love like infusing my own vodkas. I think that's really awesome.
3.5.
Who's making this drink?
You are.
Oh, that's a cool way to.
Aren't they cool? Yeah.
Instead of all those mason jars everybody's serving drinks in, we should try that.
We have shit tons of mason jars that we're getting used to.
Well, it's just like,
We're just gonna do one.
oh,
but-
sorry. Everybody's doing that now, it seems, in New York. You know, every cool restaurant is serving a drink in mason jars.
Yeah. Well, they're cheap and expensive. And
That's true, but I mean, in something like that would be kind of cool.
yeah. I just gotta think of the right.
Like a mini bedpan or something like that.
All those ravers out there who want to have something in their company with.
Oh, they would
Yeah.
love that. They don't have any teeth anyway.
Oh my god. This is our dining room.
Could you actually start all over?
Leo and I walk in like, this is crabs!
Do you want to sleep?
Here, I'm gonna put this on my backside. Could you clip this? Oh no, man, I think I can get it. There we go. All right. Well, this is our dining room with what's also our library. Ta-da! Yeah, we are trying to make our dining room kind of kooky and crazy, so we've been collecting, you know, some bones and taxidermy and circus memorabilia. And I'm a huge fan of the Mr. King, Stephen King. Yep. So, dining room. I always hate showing my house. Living room. You know, pretty self-explanatory. I did this painting for Keith for Christmas, I think. Christmas? Birthday. I did it for his birthday. He loves blackbirds, so, you know. And we just keep in mind, we just moved in here 2 months ago, so we're still adding and creating and making stuff. Yeah, that's the painting. I still need to finish the cage on it, but it's all these blackbirds flying away from him. Yeah. It's all oil paint. And then you come in here, and this is Keith's office. We kind of want to kind of have a lot of like sexy, fun art and kind of vintage party materials. So Keith's folks, actually, these are actually old calendar pictures that Keith's mom had gotten for his dad. And they had them framed, but they're vintage, really cool little pinup girls. And we've been collecting fun vintage antique party favors, and like these are party falsies. We saw them at an antique store, and it says, makes every gal or guy better and bigger than Marilyn, Jane, or Lola. I thought that was funny. Yep. So that's his office. That's where he works every day. Well, if I would have known you guys were coming, I would have cleaned up this room a little more. This is kind of my drag sewing room. Yeah, so this is where all the magic happens. I sew and create things for other people and make wigs and you know, get a lot of my ideas. Keep all my makeup and costumes are kind of in bins and hanging up. So yeah, this is a costume room.
It's the workroom.
It's my work room. It's yeah, it ended up being a nice bedroom of the house, and living in New York, the place was so small, so actually having my own space to be able to make stuff and sew or quilt or whatever, you know, I got space to do that. Yeah. Let's go that way. Cha-cha-cha. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it feel weird?
A little bit. All right, it's a dog toy. All right, you come upstairs. This is our guest bedroom. This is where Christopher Burke is staying right now. This is kind of where our guests come in, and I made these picture frames. That was a fun idea to kind of put clothespins and hang little pictures, because I don't have the right tools to actually inlay glass into frames, and I did this one as well. It's a lot larger. Yeah, so this is kind of like our fun little guest bedroom for whoever wants to stay with us. Yep. Pretty fascinating. Keep in mind, 2 months here, we're still decorating. Still decorating. Little bathroom. And this is our bedroom. I made this quilt for us. This is my first quilt that I ever made a couple of years ago. So we kind of are doing color schemes around this. We made this table, painted it with similar colors, used old crates, painted it, made the top. These are paintings I did of both Keith and I, and this is Muriel, our first dog. And this one here is for Charlie, which I haven't painted her yet. I need to find a cute little picture for her. But yeah, this is our bedroom. This is where the, babies happen. Yep, so this is where I keep all my merchandise. Ooh, interesting. All the merchandise that I have not sold yet. All right, that's it. Yeah, this, a friend of Keith's made this. It's actually quilted. She used fabrics and quilted them all together to create this woman with the ravens. And then she did a little bit of painting on the face. But all these are fabrics that are textured to create, the bird eating the nipple. I don't really understand the nipple biting, but she's an amazing artist. Keith will have to tell you her name. I can't remember her name, but she does amazing quilt pictures. Yeah. And then I painted that guy. I think I did most of the artwork in the house. Yeah. But yeah, I still need to come up with some sort of curtain system here. Maybe beads. Ah, shit! House is falling down. Go away. Go down. Can't use that part. Cut. Oh my god, have you guys I know you guys have watched Lisa Kudrow and The Comeback.
Oh, that's so funny.
Have you guys watched that? You guys have to watch The Comeback.
I know Lisa Kudrow.
From Friends. She's
Okay,
Phoebe.
okay,
She's
yeah,
Phoebe.
yeah,
But
yeah.
she has this reality... It's not a reality... It seems like a reality TV show.
Like a mockumentary kind of show.
Right.
Yeah.
There's 2 seasons. You guys have to watch it because you're reminding me of it right now. I feel like I'm Lisa Kudrow as the has-been. You guys have to watch it. It's really, really funny. And then bathroom. Mind you, still decorating. Here's a penis picture my friend Madeline Hatter painted. You know Madeline Hatter.
Oh, yeah.
She painted that in high school, and she gave it to me, and I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to put it in my bathroom. Yep. And then, so you've seen the dining room. The kitchen, which we've been using. I love this kitchen. It's huge, and it's perfect for when we're doing all of our recipes and for our cocktail book. So, yeah, it's good space. We got lucky with that. And first time I've ever had a dishwasher. I never thought I'd be so excited because I hate doing dishes. Keith loves doing dishes and he loves doing laundry, so thank you, dishwasher. That's it. And these are our little girls. Hey, girls. Ooh. Muriel, say hi to the camera. You guys want to go outside?
Mm-hmm.
Not. Oh, I was talking to the girls. Just kidding.
Well,
Just
we're
kidding.
girls, too.
Yes. All right, want to go outside and shoot some knives?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. Let me get some practice shots in first. Okay. Oh, did you get all that? Did you get all that? Maybe it would be best to shoot from the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get a little bit.
Okay. You do what you do. I really get in there. I had to build this board twice because these knives actually went through the original board.
Oh, they do, don't they?
Yeah. Even this board they've gone through. Like you can see. they've actually gone through this heavy board.
That shows what they're going to do to your skull.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the wrong end of one of these guys. Like the blade itself is not sharp, but the point is. Woo! And then I've been practicing throwing from the blade, which is takes a little bit more time to practice aiming because you're so far back. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll do a couple more this way so you can get it. Pretty fancy. And you have to say people would pay to see that with someone standing where that outline is, right?
Yep.
Right? I want to get good enough to where Keith is standing here and I'm going to shoot 4 knives on each side of him, and then he's going to hold a board and I'm going to aim and get it right into the board. So hopefully that happens. I'm not nervous. He's not nervous either. Now this one's from the blade, which these might drop, so you'll have to edit those out. Yeah, it looks so cool that way. Oh, let me get this one. Yeah. That's that. Do you need more shots of that?
No, that's cool.
All right. The backyard. This is where I'm going to be hunting bunny rabbits for my practice of taxidermy. But we won't mention that. Yeah, that's pretty out here. Much nicer than the smog and homeless people of New York City. Yeah. Ooh. Anything else?
I think if we could just like hang out here
Yeah?
and see. Your guys are still recording it?
Yeah, I'm still rolling. Yep.
Oh, maybe we shouldn't see the front.
It was far away. Yeah. Would you want to shoot? Oh, I can show you my cornhole game.
Oh yeah.
So, a lot of people know what this game is. Christopher Burke does not know what this game is. It's called Cornhole, and my dad and I built the game. I mean, we didn't invent the game, but painted it very circus-like. And you basically put them out, and then you throw beanbags at them, and you get 1 point if it lands on, and then you get 3 points if it goes in the hole. So it's really fun. Do you guys know what cornhole is? Yeah, so you know. He didn't know what cornhole was. I know. So we made it. They actually have tournaments next door at the tavern, so Keith and I are getting really good at cornhole, so we can compete on the Tuesday's competition and win some free beer. But no, this is a kind of like fun workshop. You can see if you come in. This is where I do a lot of like furniture stuff, and been working on my ventriloquist puppet. This is a different sculpt for a different puppet. It's a little dusty. I started it a while back, but it's just a clay sculpture that I'll mold and turn into another ventriloquist puppet like the one you saw inside. This was actually for a friend of mine, Jesse Vault. So she's hoping to do Melissa Rivers, as she was doing Joan, and this was going to be Melissa. but it's really hard to get the facial. I'm not the best sculptor, so it's been a work in progress. But yeah, this is kind of like this is normally where I practice throwing knives, and it's my 5-foot unicycle and some stilts, and yeah. I kind of spend more time out here than I do in my sewing room lately, just because I haven't been used to. I've been so used to like sewing and staying inside for so long in New York, but now I have all the space that it's fun to create and do things out here. So, yeah, it's my garage. It's my man cave. This is my lady cave. Yeah. Yep.
It's bigger than most New York apartments.
Right? I know. And it came with the house. So, it's crazy. Yeah.
Suppose we shouldn't go that way.
No.
So
Well,
see the.
I mean, you can if you want, but
Oh, we'll just shoot a little bit from the entrance and whatnot when we're done,
all right.
so we get the house.
Yeah, sure.
It's idyllic.
Yeah.
Ooh, thanks.
Yeah, I got a lot of ants, frogs, spiders. There's this really badass spider web. Oh my god, I don't know if it's still there or not.
Destroyed.
I've been trying to learn how to save them. You take you spray them with hairspray, and then you blow cornstarch over the web, and it picks up all the cornstarch, and then you take black construction paper and you put it behind it, and you spray it with hairspray, and you pick it up, and you actually preserve the spider web, and you can frame it. I've tried once with the spider web, and it wasn't super visible, so I'm still working on that more. Finally have a place to grow some sage, lavender, and rosemary. That's a rosemary tree over there. And then, yeah, we have the apple trees, the pear tree, and some raspberry and rhubarb bushes in the back. This was, like, looking super full. I gotta pull some of these off, so I'm gonna dry them because it looks like it's gonna start dying soon. But, yeah. This is my everyday living. This is fun. It's relaxing and nice, and I love it out here. It's fun. Yeah. Anything else you want me to talk about?
No.
You're not asking me any questions.
I know. I don't really have no more. We already talked about what I wanted to talk about, so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. No, it's just pretty much if you want to talk about anything, or.
I covered a lot that I think would be good. I don't know. What do you guys want to know about me? You're like, I don't fucking care about you. Yeah.
Are the seasons different here?
The season's different here? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. You get crazy. You haven't witnessed this yet, but the storms here, you guys know, are awesome. They're beautiful. Like the skies, you can see the entire sky, and it's like comes in super breezy and like warm still, but you'll get the best lightning show you've ever had. And New York, you don't really get that. You'll get lightning and you'll get rain and thunder, but you won't get like the full effect of it. And snow. Like I was telling Keith, like you don't understand thunderstorms until you've lived around here, because even in Indiana, it's very different. I think it's just the lakes around Michigan, but oh, that's so fun and pretty. We actually had a tornado come through here, and my mom and my sister were over. We were canning, making Amish butter, which is like kind of like a spicy mustard. We were canning it, and maybe 1:30 in the morning, we had notices on our phone, and we were all going to bed, and we all had to get up and go down to the basement because a tornado touched down maybe like 5 minutes away from here and ripped apart all these roofs off houses. And this only happened maybe 3 weeks ago. Yeah, so we got lucky. But we were in our basement, and it's a little bit of an incline, and all these gutters are totally soaked with the seeds from this tree, and the people that own the house actually haven't ripped them out. But the water started coming in through the windows downstairs, and you could see like it was like a waterfall of water, and we were like, it's coming closer, and it was coming over, like it was going over an outlet, and we were freaking out. Yeah, it was bad, but it ended up being fine.
Yeah,
Yep.
you don't get that in New York, do you?
No. And the winter here is like super pretty. You just get snow. You get like this tree have no leaves, but certain times of the morning, you'll have all the branches completely covered with ice. You know that when you're in the morning, and it looks like crystal almost. It's really, really pretty. So you don't get that in New York either. You get slushy, gross, brown nastiness, slush, and all the cars are covered with it, and it just looks awful. You don't want to walk in it. And out here, at least, it's pretty. And you don't have to walk really out here. You're driving everywhere, so it's not as cold. Pretty fascinating stuff.
True.
Yeah. I don't really have any. Yeah. Cut that part out.
That's
Cut.
good.